What a wife he's got, she's smoking hot. Check out the Junkyard Babe. When everything is said and done, no one can beat his show. He's a high-tech redneck, Tony Soprano. If you love sports without the fluff, he's got the master plan. 'Cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham, yeah.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Oh, yes, Coach, we are on, and welcome to a Top 10 Tuesday in the Doghouse. You know, for the 8th time in the now 70-year history of the AP poll, Alabama is the preseason number one. Now, two of the previous seven times that Alabama was preseason number one, they won the Natty from the pole position, if you will. No pun intended. In fact, in the last 69 years before this poll, only 11 times in 69 years has a preseason number one completed the season number one. Now, as far as being the preseason number one, Oklahoma leads that list with 10 preseason number ones all time. And they had 4 national titles in the years that they were number one. Ohio State is second with 8 times being preseason number one. They have won it exactly 0 times as the preseason number one. I'm not saying they haven't won the national championship, but as the preseason number one, they've only won it, 0 times. Alabama and USC have been the preseason number one 7 times each. And the next closest in preseason number one rankings is Florida State and Nebraska with 6 each. Yeah, Nebraska, kiddies. Nebraska, they used to be pretty good, kids. Those of you that don't know, Nebraska used to be a thing. For sake of argument, Clemson was preseason number one in 2019 and 2020. That was the first time that Clemson was ever preseason number one, and they didn't win either year. LSU and Alabama, right, won the Natties the last 2 years. So Clemson, preseason number one the last 2 years, has not won. Now, I'm going to run down the teams that have gotten it done, poll to poll. So there are 11 times that it's happened. So I'll run it down and those years. And there are some other interesting nuggets in there in AP poll history. That will be your Tuesday Top 10. Wow! Every day, Grizz changes up the video skin a little bit each day, and every day he changes it, it's like the best one ever. He did something different, and it looks better than ever. It's really good. You got to check that out, man. You got to get the video stream of the show. It's very cool. Exciting night of baseball last night as the pennant races are really heating up. I told you yesterday that the Braves will not look back now. They are headed for the hills. I think the Braves are like 11-2 now in their last 13 games. They're out of their minds. And last night in Miami, they got bombs from Freddie Freeman and Adam Duvall in the 4th inning.
Runners take their leads, and the 3-1 on the way. Swung on and crushed. Deep right center field. Back to the wall. That is gone. You bet Freddie can give him the lead. A 3-run homer here in the top of the 4th inning. And Freddie made him pay. And the 2-1 to Duvall. This one is hammered. Rising high and deep. And an atom bomb for Duvall. My goodness. That went up onto the concourse over the seats. And he's back in Miami making lots of noise with a 2-run homer here in the 4th.
Why did they have to wait to halfway through the season to sign that guy? The heck didn't they have that guy all along? Adam Duvall. So here you are. One of the best players on the planet is out in Ronald Acuna Jr. And right now the Braves are playing the best baseball that they've played all season long. I'm telling you, man, it's the way it is in sports. I know great players are important. It's the way it is in sports. It happens in every sport, it seems like. But it happens in baseball a lot. Yankees missing half of their lineup. They've been playing the best baseball. Luke Voit comes back. He hasn't really done much. They'll have Gary Sanchez back tonight. Hopefully they don't start losing games. Because as for that, Yankees and Red Sox play a doubleheader today, with New York just one game ahead of Boston, or one game behind Boston in the loss column. And they're playing a doubleheader today. The Yankees actually could pass Boston in the standings by the end of the night tonight. Boston and the A's are tied for the wild card in the American League, just one game ahead of New York. And the Tampa Bay Rays have been playing out of their gourds. Whatever a gourd is, the Tampa Bay Rays have been playing flat out of their gourds. And they have the best record in the American League, but they simply cannot put away the Sox and the Yanks. Sox are like 3.5 back, Yanks 5.5 back. Hot on their tail. Not like the NL East, but the AL East. The top three teams in the AL East would all be leading the NL East in a laugher. Auburn and Alabama back on the field after their first live scrimmages of the fall. And on today's show, we will get Tide and Tiger reports. Not in that order. I guess we'll get Tiger and Tide reports. First from Justin Ferguson of the Auburn Observer. And then at the top of the 11 from Joey Blackwell of BamaCentral.com. We remind you, phone lines are open. Feel free to jump in. 256-576-4977. 256-576-4977. It's your convenient way to call the show. We also have the entire digital doghouse for you as well. The Twitter feed and the Facebook is at Thom Abraham Show. Text window, 732-9TA Show. 732-982-7469. Great way to communicate with us. The Zone is on Twitter and Facebook and Twitch at 97.7 ESPN. And online at 977ESPN.com. And on the app. Get the friggin' app, will ya? The video stream of the show is in all of those places as well as our new YouTube channel at 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Okay, you got to go to 97.7 ESPN, The Zone, and you could see what Grizz has done. And I, for the life of me, I mean, I'm not like the sharpest crayon in the box, but for the life of me, I cannot figure out what the hell has happened here in the last 2 weeks, week and a half, that the video looked so good and it was so bad for like a week about 3 weeks ago. We couldn't do anything, hardly. I looked like I was broadcasting from the moon. Now I look at the thing and it looks beautiful. I don't know what changed. Somebody was looking at something maybe they shouldn't have been doing on that computer. I don't know. Something was eating up there. I don't know. I'm sitting there. I have this budget to go get more equipment. And all of a sudden, the video looks fantastic. So, anyway, go check that out. In fact, while you're checking out nuggets, check this little nugget out. The Field of Dreams game. Follow me here now. The Field of... Listen. Grizz, there's going to be a quiz. Listen. The Field of Dreams game drew an audience of 5.83 million people. It was a stunning visual. And even a more stunning baseball game itself with a dramatic ninth inning, right? Two two-run homers to put the Yankees in the lead in the top of the ninth. 2-run homer by the White Sox to win the game in the bottom of the ninth. Walk-off. First, the first walk-off in the history of the Yankees against them was Shoeless Joe Jackson. Really? And here we're playing in a cornfield with Shoeless Joe watching it. I don't know. Crazy. Just an unbelievable, stunning visual. It was the most watched regular season baseball game in 16 years. It surpassed the audience for most of last year's MLB playoffs. That Game 7 between the Braves and the Dodgers barely had more than this. But most of the World Series and everything else, this game here, this Field of Dreams game, 5.83 million. It had a higher audience than most of the NBA playoffs. 5.83 million. Keep paying attention now, because here's the nugget. The Hall of Fame game between the Cowboys and the Steelers had 7.3 million viewers. And they were going up against the Olympics. The Olympics were on that night. 7.3 million viewers tuned in to see the Steelers uniforms against the Cowboys uniforms with a bunch of guys that are going to be delivering pizzas next week. Man, are we a football nation. I mean, are you kidding me? You're kidding me, right? I mean, 1.5 million more people watched the Hall of Fame preseason game knowing that Dak Prescott and Ben Roethlisberger and anybody else is going to play in the game. And 1.5 million more people watched the most watched regular season baseball game in 16 years. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I was half right, by the way, about next year's Field of Dreams game. I guaranteed you it would be Cubs and Cardinals without looking at the calendar, the schedule. That baseball screwed this up a little bit because they announced the schedule, then they announced they're going to do a game, so they go to August, see who's playing who. So it'll be the Cubs and the Reds. They'll be the Cincinnati Redlegs for that game. They used to be the Redlegs. In fact, they were the Redlegs all the way in the 60s. I think they were still the Redlegs. Anyway, it'll be Cincinnati. It'll be the Reds and the Cubs for next year's Field of Dream games, not the Cardinals. So I guess the schedule kind of dictated that deal. And as expected, Tim Tebow has been released by the Jacksonville Jaguars, ending his comeback attempt. And I'd have to say this is probably it for the 34-year-old Tebow in professional sport. I don't know if he's going to go trial for the Orlando Magic or if he's going to go trial for a hockey team. I don't think so. I think he's done. Maybe he needs to take up like Iron Man or something. You see the shape he's in? I mean, he's in great shape. I don't know if he could swim and bike, and maybe he just, obviously he needs to compete a little bit. I don't know if he plays golf. He's got to do something, but I do assume that he'll be back on the SEC network this fall. That dude over there in the little glass room playing the Platters That Matter and the Stacks of Wax and making this video thing, I don't know what he did. I don't know what he did, but it looks great. It's Coach Chris.
Do you know who I am?
Who in the blue hell are you?
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and pollen.
I'm telling you, there's an embarrassing press conference in that kid's future.
You don't ever say that to me. Bullcrap.
There won't be any misinformation. There won't be any false statements. There won't be any hearsay.
How come there ain't no Puerto Ricans on Star Trek?
You ask me those kind of questions, it really pisses me off.
Tom, can you get me off the hook? For old time's sake.
You ask a question every week that I don't know anything about.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
You do what everybody else in the media does, just create some and throw it on the wall and see what sticks.
I ain't gonna be buried. I want a taxidermist to stuff me. Say hello to my new
Hey, yo! What did you do to the computer, Greg?
I have no clue. Just some magic. I played around this morning. Did it right before Talking Ball. Actually got it going kind of about the same on Talking Ball as well. Doesn't look the same, but
am I lying about the quality of the video? I mean, I'm looking at me, and I look sharp, and like there's good bandwidth. Like all of a sudden we got good bandwidth. I look sharp. You look sharp. There's no. It's not like that. I mean, I don't know what happened. It's all the same equipment, right?
Yeah,
we didn't do anything different.
Nothing different. Just added a few. I mean, I just tweaked a few things. Just added a few. Went into my little developer thing and just kind of made some overlays.
Yeah, but that's not going to do anything about
no. It's
bandwidth.
Just pictures. No, it's just pictures. It's just you're putting a picture
you're
over
just
a
talking
picture.
You're talking about cleaning up the skin and making it look cool.
Yeah,
which looks cool.
Even with the stream, the
there's a
zoom.
crawl on the bottom that has the text info and the lines like that. And there's I mean, it's just crazy.
Oh yeah, it'll tell you everything. I pretty much right now just have the text call line. You got to check out our website. If there's anything going, I mean, we still got a lot of Metro Diner left, so you can go to wzzn.halfoffdeal. It's on there as well. So it'll alert you anything going on. It says Roll Tide, War Eagle. I mean, we try to cover it all.
Wait a minute, it says War Tide and Roll Eagle.
And it says Roll Tide, War Eagle. No,
it says War Eagle. No, it does not.
Yeah,
does it really?
It's about to scroll right here. Boom.
Oh God, get that off of there.
At least it says Roll Tide and War Eagle.
That's good. Disgusting.
Just don't have the War Eagle part on there. Just keep the Roll Tide, even though we're supposed to be.
I don't know.
And Go Vols. Do I add Go Vols on there too?
I'll tell you what. I would tell you what I would do and this is just me, just being, I'm just saying what I would do. I would put the phone number and the website information static up top in that area that is all that black area next to the logo.
Yeah.
I would put the phone number and the website and you already got what do you got on the bottom there? The Twitter.
Yeah.
What is that? Instagram.
I made that red bar with
That's
all
cool.
the pictures and everything. Yeah.
That's cool. But the other thing I would add
I can
YouTube.
move that.
No. Leave that there. I would leave that there, and I would widen it one more and put the new YouTube because we need people to go to the new YouTube. So I would add the new YouTube. I would put the phone number up top and that kind of stuff up in that area. And then on the crawl, now this would be a little bit of work, I'm not saying, but on the crawl, if there was a way to have some kind of information or news coming up on the show today.
I can change that anytime. No, I can change.
Saying?
Yeah, that's the thing. I can change that anytime, actually. I can change that as we're talking. So, I mean, nobody would know that it was going on.
That's what I'm saying. So on there, I would put stuff like lines are open next, or coming up next, it's Justin Ferguson from. That's what I would do. I'm just saying. I'm nobody. I'm just.
No, I understand. No, that was in the back of my brain. We're thinking on the same page for sure for once.
Good. Listen to you for once. I give you for once. How about them Braves, man? I mean, they just.
Hey.
Why did they not sign Adam Duvall right from the jump street?
We've right. I don't know how many times I've probably said it, and how many times Steve probably said it last night as well. I heard Steve say it last night on the drive. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, you signed Ozuna, you had Inciarte with an $8 million deal. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. Both of those guys probably, one of them's not on the team anymore because he's released.
Is he a liability in the field?
I think he's a liability at the bat. Because, like I said yesterday, I mean,
no. I'm talking about Duvall's not a liability at the
bat. In the field?
Duvall, is he a liability in the field? Maybe. Is that what the issue was?
Stockier guy, maybe not as good a defenseman. I just don't know, but I don't get that. Just throw him in left field and have at it. I don't understand that. Or throw him in right. Like usually right field in Little League was like the where you put people that weren't as good as everybody else. So put him in right field in the MLB. I don't know, whoever. But I feel like if he's not good defensively, who cares? He's like I said, now he's up to 18, 19 home runs in Truist Park alone. So I mean, he's raking at home. And he's raking on the team. He likes playing for the Braves. He plays a better. If you watch him in the Marlins, he's one of the only dudes other than Jesus Aguilar that's even producing for him. So I mean, you got to look at a guy and say, I get it. I understand they bought into the Ozuna hype. He did get hot, but he faltered in the playoffs, and so did Duvall a little bit. But I think they kind of looked at it as a younger guy, maybe, and I don't even know if he's younger or not, but I'm sure he is. A younger guy, maybe a more athletic guy in the field defensively, but the bat too. I don't know why you wouldn't want him in there. So I just think they made a lot of bad decisions. I mean, Shane Green just got let go. So I think there was a lot of there was a lot of good decisions, but there were a couple of bad too.
Remember before Shane Green was signed, a lot of people wanted him to sign Shane Green too.
Yeah,
I mean there was a lot of talk about hey, they got to sign Shane Green.
I probably wouldn't have.
Now the new Madden is out. Is that correct?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I've seen people play it. I'd have to check. I've not been paying attention at all. Sorry.
What's the most current Madden you got?
21 actually. No, I got last year.
Did you?
Yeah.
Now, how long did you go before you got that one?
Probably a few months because actually, it was free. It came through an offer that I have.
See, I wonder if. My kids get it, my boys get it and stuff.
Yeah, it released today, so last night.
Yeah, it came out last night, I think.
Yeah,
is when it came out.
Yeah.
All right. I'm trying to. I'm trying
I haven't
to
been paying
think
attention.
Yeah, I mean, what can they possibly do? What can they possibly change?
So what I've seen is before, if you try to jump in the end zone, the AI would stop. If you had to be another player to hit somebody as they're jumping in the end zone. So if you were jumping in the end zone,
you couldn't jump in the end zone to
the opposing team would just stop and watch you jump basically. They wouldn't hit you. Now it's if you try to jump in the end zone, you will get hit and get flipped and stuff like that. There's also they've added something called the yard, which was in last year, which you get it's 7-on-7 basically. You get 7 athletic players and 6 athletic players and 1 quarterback.
So it's a different game you can play.
Yeah, and it's like a 7-on-7 game, and you can throw the ball around many times. You can throw it backwards. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Do you have to be vaccinated to play the game now or something? I mean, they didn't do that, do they?
No, there's no vaccination, but there's
no vaccination where everybody has to go and have like they could have like imaginary needle or something like that where everybody's going to get
Well, I want to say like
test.
19, it was like Madden 19 or Madden 20 had like a story mode first. Like they first came out with a story mode, so it gave you a perspective of like a person getting drafted and being a recruit out of high school and all this other stuff, and it was actually kind of fun because they actually put a lot of like big actor, like voice actors behind it. I think Paul Giamatti was in the last one. And then there's like a bunch of other stuff that you can do, and then you progress to be a Hall of Famer and win the Super Bowl.
Can
and all
you pee in the bottle? Do they do drug testing?
No, they don't do any drug testing. They don't do it. No, none of that. No, there's nothing like that. But you can. They do like how like they do in 2K, where you can say something, and it can affect your team's mentality or like your perspective on you. Like you can, like in 2K and basketball, and I think they can do it in Madden 2 in the new one. You can like say something that like maybe more selfish than more
like a Pac-Man Jones thing. Like
basically.
Can you get caught in the strip club?
No, I don't think so. No, you can't throw money at a stripper and then try to take it back. That's not how that works. You can't throw money and then try to take it back. That's not how that works. No. Anyway, I thought he knew that. I thought we would all like know how to do that. You know what I mean? I've watched enough movies to know. What?
You can't shoot people in the strip club either? Probably.
No, you can't do that. You can't order anybody. You can't do any of that kind of stuff. You can't do any of the bad stuff. You can't get DUIs after you get 200 yards after a huge night by like Michael Turner did back in the day. I mean, you can't do those kinds of things. Right. But yeah, it's a fun game. They've changed a lot of stuff, but I'll tell you this, the graphics still look the same. Some people think the mechanics are kind of stupid, and it is a little buggy at first.
All right, let's get a break. I don't know nothing about it. I just saw walk by the room and once in a while, and the guys will be playing it. Let's get a break. When we come back, let's start with Auburn, get an update off of Auburn in their practice. Justin Ferguson joining us from the Auburn Observer. He's up first. We'll do that next right here. It's the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Simple Green is perfect for making your auto, RV, cycling, boating, and other sporting equipment look like new. Visit them at simplegreen.com.
MLB Rookie of the Year odds updated on Monday. In the American League, Randy Arozarena leads the way at plus 150, followed by Adolis Garcia at plus 275 and Luis Garcia at plus 350. In the National League, Jonathan India, the heavy favorite, minus 400, Trevor Rogers at plus 225, and Dylan Carlson plus 1,200. Alabama number one in the preseason AP college football poll. They are favored to win the national championship at plus 250. Clemson at plus 375, Georgia plus 550. Top 10 middleweights will meet at this week's UFC Fight Night. Number 3 ranked Jared Cannonier and 9th ranked Kelvin Gastelum will fight at the UFC Apex Center in Vegas Saturday. Cannonier the minus 155 favorite, Gastelum plus 130.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked the reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Every time Taco Bell's nacho fries returned, those Mexican spices were drawing something closer to the surface.
And once they taste that warm nacho cheese sauce, they won't stop till there's nothing left.
Can the Fry Force save the world and the nacho fries we love?
So either we fight together, or we fry alone.
Or will the monsters devour us all? Get your nacho fries today while you can. Now now serving at a Taco Bell near you. At participating U.S. locations for a limited time only.
Hey, this is Justin with the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. We'd like to invite you to North Alabama's premier patio bar and grill, where at the factory, we have something going on each and every night. Monday night, steak night. Tuesday night, karaoke. Wednesday night, the Jeep community comes out for Jeep Jam. Thursday, it's bike night, the biggest in the valley. Friday and Saturday, live concerts on our 4,000 square foot patio, along with drink specials and a beautiful staff. What are you waiting on? We will see you at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill.
Maybe the air doesn't blow like it should, or it's needing new tires, or you're just ready for something newer. It's time to move up, time to trade up. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and it's the perfect time to trade in and trade up because your current car or truck is worth more than you know. In fact, we'll buy your vehicle even if you don't trade. We have nearly 100 Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned models to choose from. Our Ford Gold certified or low mileage gently used vehicles with great warranties. They've passed a 172-point inspection by certified technicians, come with a 24-hour roadside assistance, plus a full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. It's the perfect time to trade in and trade up because your vehicle is worth more right now at Woody Anderson Ford. Corner of Jordan Lane and Sparkman Drive. Hope to see you soon.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Do you value professionalism and punctuality? Want to learn from and work with the best pros in the electrical industry? Then you're just who we're looking for. Mr. Sparky is seeking hard-working, committed, and trustworthy individuals. With industry-leading salaries, benefits, and growth potential, we also provide ongoing training. So come join our team at Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
An equal opportunity employer.
From the WZDX Pinpoint Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Tuesday, expect scattered showers and thunderstorms, otherwise a mostly cloudy sky. High temperatures will top out in the mid-80s. And for your Tuesday night, expect a few isolated showers, patchy fog to develop after midnight, a partly cloudy sky, low temperatures falling into the lower 70s. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Steve Moulton from The Drive. Be sure and join us today from 5 to 7 with Wes Neighbors and me. Now back to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. The segment of the show brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. Brian Harson and his team standing by to make sure that your mortgage experience goes as smoothly as possible, because that's all you want, right? We don't understand all the nuts and bolts of what they do, all right, and how they do it. We just want it to go smoothly. We want to know that we're getting the best rate possible, and we want to know that this guy is going to go to battle for us and make sure that we're getting the exact product that we need, and that's what they do at North Alabama Mortgage. It doesn't matter, by the way, whether or not you're buying a property in Tennessee or in Alabama or in Florida. North Alabama Mortgage, they're there for you. Refi, new purchases, refi, whatever it is, take advantage of those great rates that are out there right now. All right, joining us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, a guy that does a tremendous job with the Auburn Observer, breaking down everything Auburn Tigers. He is Justin Ferguson. Justin, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm all right, man. How are you?
I'm fantastic. All right, Ferg, so talk to me about how you're going to glean information, from these scrimmages, because you guys got to report this stuff, and you've got to write articles, and you got to do a podcast and all of that. So not being able to actually be there for the 100-play scrimmage, pull the curtain back a little bit and tell us how you glean as much information as possible as to what's going on out there on the field.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing you have to do in those situations is, try to get as much as you can from the coach himself and the players if you get to talk to them. I mean, I think that's the best way to do it. I mean, there are some scrimmages like the one this past Saturday night where there were some lettermen in attendance, family members of certain players in attendance. You try to glean as much of that as you can, but if you get too many in there, sometimes you can get some mixed messages, some mixed, remembering of certain things that happened during the scrimmage. So, but yeah, I think it's one of those things where you just have to be really direct and really creative with your questions, and try to get as much as you can from the people who are in there and doing it. Whether they be coaches or the players.
And we're never going to hear a coach come out and say, yeah, we're ready to play. I mean, we're ready. We can play Saturday.
Yeah.
We're good. They're never going to do that. They're always going to come out of these things, preseason games and the NFL scrimmages and college football. We got a lot of work to do. Now we got a lot of corrections that we can make. But now more than ever, doesn't it seem to be that way? There's so little contact in practice. The scrimmages are about the only time these kids will even put on, pants with pads in them. I mean, it's just crazy how little actual contact there is. I would imagine that the film that they get out of these scrimmages is just incredibly important to look at the individual matchups, how linemen are blocking D-line and how receivers are separating from DBs or DBs breaking on the ball, things like that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is the closest thing you're going to get to a real football before you have a season that starts. And, yeah, this is big for depth charts and finding separation. I mean, Auburn is in the spot right now where they're going to have one more scrimmage later this week. They're going to do it on Friday night. But then it's kind of after that, it's kind of you're going into pretty much extended game week mode, and they will be kind of in the game planning and getting everything set up phase. So, like, in terms of your depth chart and kind of moving things around and figuring out who fits where, who can contribute at what spot, you need to learn from what you see on the film and what you put out there in real action. You can learn a lot from drills. You can learn a lot from the 11-on-11 stuff you do at practice, but putting it in the closest thing to a game situation as possible is the best kind of measuring stick. And it sounded like Auburn learned a lot from this last scrimmage on Saturday.
Are we to expect that the 5 guys that make up the offensive line in week 1 are going to be the 5 guys that make up the offensive line throughout the season, or do you see a scenario? Harsin has done this in the past where he has mixed and matched, offensive linemen in an entire season. But do you think that this is something that will be a work in progress in terms of the offensive line?
I think they want to get to the best 5 that they have at the start of the season and run with it as long as they can. Not wanting to necessarily mix it around unless their injuries. I think part of the reason why they're mixing and matching so much in practices and using guys at different spots is they want to have kind of all the contingency plans laid in. All right, if this guy goes down, do we just put in his backup, or can we move a guy over and maybe bring in a better backup at another position into the starting 5? I think that's kind of what they want to do. So, last season with Auburn, we saw they rotated the offensive line in some early games, and it had mixed results. I think when you think about offensive line play, you want that group to have chemistry. You want them to be consistent. You want them to, kind of be confident in what they're going out there and doing. And I think, they're going to have depth. They're going to have experienced depth, and guys who started last season aren't going to be starters in game 1, but they all kind of need to get ready. And so it's going to be very interesting to see how they come down to the final conclusion of, hey, this is our best 5, and this is who we want moving forward.
What have you been able to learn about the quarterback play? We know that Harsin said there were some turnovers. He said they ran the ball well, which is not the number one thing that you want to hear about your quarterback. You want to hear how they are in the passing game. But what were you able to learn about how the quarterbacks played?
Yeah, some good and some bad from the top 2 quarterbacks in Bo Nix and T.J. Finley, respectively. Some good throws, some explosive plays, some deep shots from both of those guys, but also some turnovers. And some interceptions in some key situations. Brian Harsin talked about the importance of taking care of the ball and making the right decisions on Saturday night, and that seemed to be kind of a theme with the quarterbacks. Is that when the bullets are flying and you're going up against that really good pass rush and that really good defensive front from Auburn, especially on the first team, they're going to give you a real challenge. But you gotta know what you're doing. You gotta be confident, consistent out there, and that's what he wants to see from his quarterbacks. Now, Demetrius Davis had a great day. Sounded like, mostly from what I've been able to gather, was playing with a 3rd-team offense. So they were going against a 3rd-team defense, and not necessarily the stiffest competition on that side of the ball compared to what guys like Nix and Finley went up against. But for a true freshman to show the amount of progress he's made in camp so far, and to go out in his first scrimmage and put on a show, I think is a really good sign for him and his future with the team. It's still Nix and Finley up top. Nix 1, Finley 2. Be interested to see how much that changes coming off of the scrimmage. If they're still, if this still is Nix's job to lose, which it sounds like it is. But it'll be interesting to see just kind of how they carve up certain drills and maybe that next scrimmage coming out of it, because felt like the quarterback play, there were some good things they're going to be able to highlight and lean on, but there was a good bit that they needed to sit back and correct at the quarterback spot in camp.
You almost get the feeling that, I mean, before they go to Penn State, they got Akron in the opener, Alabama State then. There's going to be an opportunity to play a lot of people then. You almost get the feeling that some of this depth chart will still be, there's liable to be, 15 starters on both sides of the ball going in, and let's just see how they all stack up, because you got to figure that there's going to be a lot of guys getting a look, including TJ Finley and the quarterbacks, and then settle on what are you going to do when you head for Penn State.
Yeah, I mean, and Brian Harsin said Saturday night that he has played multiple quarterbacks in the past because he felt like multiple quarterbacks deserve to play, done certain things with certain guys and certain systems and packages. Montel Cozart was the biggest example of that at Boise State and how they used him in packages behind your starting quarterback. But he said, that's not where we're working towards at the moment. We want to have a starting quarterback, and we want to be able to rally around that guy. But, yeah, I mean, I think naturally you could get into a situation against Akron and Alabama State where you're taking your first stringers off the field entirely, and then you're putting, your backup quarterback and say TJ Finley and letting him go to work. And so I think that's going to be true for a lot of these positions, who can step up and who can shot, because, a lot of guys are going to be able to get on the field. And so when you talk about figuring out stuff at positions that have a decent amount of rotation, like wide receiver or the defensive line or the secondary, you might have an idea going in of here's who we want to rely on early on. But if, certain guys start showing out in different spots of the lineup in those games, you might find your way to earn you some more playing time by the time, the SEC play rolls around, or of course that Penn State game in week 3. So yeah, it'll be something to keep track of in those first couple of games, who all gets on the field and what they do with those opportunities, because they're going to want to have a clear, hey, this is our quarterback, this is our offensive line, here's where we're starting at X, Y, and Z heading into the start of the season, but that can be shifted and changed around when you have, 2 warm-up games before your first big one.
Justin Ferguson with us here talking some Auburn as they are, of course, in camp. It's good to see that on the video feed of the show that we are not using the Justin Ferguson horns down picture anymore. So now he's pointing at us, which is, there we go. He's got the pointing at us picture, not the horns down picture right now. What about defense? Derek Mason, of course, taking over the coordination of this defense. It sounded like Harsin was pleased with the way they flew around. And that may be – I mean, defense is always ahead of the offense early on, plus you don't game plan these things. You're just looking at individual matchups. The defense knows what the offense runs and vice versa. So you're not looking to take advantage of anything from a game plan standpoint. But just talk about that defense. What are you hearing as far as standouts and the defense's ability to fly around and get after it a little bit?
Yeah, the defensive front had a really good day, which is a great sign for Auburn, because I think that's the one position group where you have the most questions, them and the edge combined. You know what you got in your linebackers, you got a ton of depth in the secondary. But it's like, all right, who's going to step up on the defensive line? Colby Wooden's had a great camp. Expecting kind of breakout season from him. Could be same way with Derek Hall. So your leaders there. But guys like T.D. Moultrie getting good, consistent pass rush at a new position. Tony Fair from UAB stepping up and being a guy they really like, especially on early downs in the middle of that defensive line. Marcus Harris, transfer from Kansas, has gotten rave reviews since he's arrived at Auburn. He could be a guy who could be in line to start the opener, at one of those defensive line spots. So I think you put all that together, you bring some new guys in like Eku Leota, like Romello Hyde, who's had a really good camp at the edge position, put him next to inside linebackers like Owen Papo and Zakona Klein and Chandler Wooten, where you feel very confident about that group. That front seven should be able to really, really do some damage. And I think that defensive front, being a little ahead of the curve, and as Derek Mason said last week, has a chance to surprise some people. I think that's a great sign for the Tigers. The secondary gave up some big plays through the air. They battled back and got some interceptions, especially towards the end of the scrimmage. And so that's a good sign, I think for Auburn. Those guys, had some tough plays early on, had some adversity, but were able to kind of work their way through it and make some big plays down the stretch. And there's just so many guys in that secondary that I think they're going to be mixing and matching and moving dudes around all the way to the start of the season.
All right, finally, the polls are out now. Both of the AP and the coaches' polls are out. And it always seemed like with Gus Malzahn that Auburn was given the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes they were overranked a little bit, but it always seemed like they were there. You know, they would be 14, 15, 16, 11, you know, something like that. And were you surprised at all that they were left out of the top 25 altogether? They're 29, 30, somewhere in there when you look at the votes. And I don't know. I mean, if Auburn's playing Ole Miss this week, I still think that Auburn's favored in that game. Coastal Carolina, Louisiana Monroe, even Oklahoma State, Utah, Arizona State. These people that are in the poll, I feel like Auburn would still be favored to win those games. But what was your take on them being left completely out of both polls? Was that right?
Yeah, I mean, I would think that, you know, in terms of talent and what they can be this year, a lot of the numbers kind of project Auburn as like a 20 through 25 team this year. So you could easily put them in there and been fine. But I think you got to understand, like, what, you know, sometimes the people who vote in these polls, what they want to do with their preseason poll is they want to kind of predict what the season turns out to be like. And they're like, okay, well, at the end of the year, I think this team will be, you know, up at the top. And,
right.
You know, these will be the playoff teams. And so I think, you know, Auburn's got such a tough schedule, and, you know, there's a lot of hype around Ole Miss and what they can bring on offense. That, like, by the end of the year, I think more people think that by the end of the year they'll have more confidence in Ole Miss and those teams than they do Auburn. But yeah, I think it's the benefit of the doubt thing. Like, you knew under Gus Malzahn that Auburn was going to be, one of the 25 best teams in the country year in and year out. And I think, you know, Brian Harsin definitely has the talent to do that on his roster. But I think there's just a lot of wait and see mode. It's the same reason why I think you saw Auburn get, you know, so many all SEC player votes at media days, but yet get picked to finish fifth in the West. I think there's just a lot of wait and see from people about Brian Harsin. They want to see if he can do it in the SEC. So I think that's part of it. I think Auburn will, you know, I think Auburn's got a real chance of being a ranked team by the end of the season. But I can see why why people who vote in polls, you know, are more confident in other teams right now, and they think that they'll be more confident by the end of the season because not only has Auburn got a new coach, but they got one of the toughest schedules in the country to go up against.
I think some people vote on what they think a team deserves as opposed to what is really the best teams. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, Coastal Carolina, you know, they did such a great job last year, and they got a lot of guys coming back, and they deserve to be there. Or Louisiana Monroe, they deserve to be there. And look, those teams are gonna be double-digit win teams, but that doesn't mean that they're not, you know, 3 and 5 if they're playing in the SEC, or maybe even 2 and 6, right. You know, if they're playing in the SEC. But I agree with you. I think a lot of times these polls, you go at where they are now versus are you predicting where they're going to be at the end of the year. I was surprised that Alabama was such an overwhelming number one in both polls. I think that was an homage more to Nick Saban than anything else because you know, they're replacing 85% of the production on their offense, and you're just going to put them number one like that. And they may end up being number one, you know, but talk to me in 4 or 5 weeks. I'd rather see that than you know, it feels like Oklahoma or even Clemson, you know, something like that would be ahead of them right now. Even Georgia possibly would be a little bit ahead of them right now. But reputation plays so much in this.
Yeah, that's 100% true. And I think that's the big thing. It's like Alabama will, you know, you're not going to look dumb if you pick Alabama to be number one in the country heading into the season, right? So I think there's a lot of that to it. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, Georgia probably is the closest to Alabama in terms of pure talent in college football right now, and they're returning more starters. So like that would be a trendy little number one pick to have. I mean, Ohio State and Clemson definitely makes sense. Oklahoma, everybody loves that offense this year. They think their defense can continue to get better. It's just, yeah, I think it's a lot of, you know, well, what do you think is going to happen at the end of the year? Well, Alabama's going to be one of the best teams in the country and probably the national champion after what they've done the last few years. So I think there's just a lot of respect and a lot of benefit of the doubt given to Nick Saban, which he deserves because, I mean, no one's done it better than him.
Yeah, I always say this is the coaches poll, meaning I think that a lot of the voters are voting coaches. A lot of the voters, they don't know these players. They don't know that all of a sudden this guy or that guy, all of us, you know, is going to be great and just, you know, plug and play and it's the next guy. I think they're saying Saban, Sweeney, Riley, Day, Smart. I think, you know, good Jimbo Fisher, Brian Kelly. I think that this is strictly coaches poll is, they're almost ranking the coaches more than they are the team themselves. Okay. We lost Justin.
Well, all right.
He's like, he didn't like that because I didn't say harsh.
See, that happened when I called him earlier, too. The call just dropped, and I swear I thought it was me.
Well, it could be his phone, but that's okay. That's what I think, though, in these polls. Honestly, I'll be honest with you, Chris. I feel like that they're voting. They voted Saban 1, Sweeney 2, Lincoln Riley 3. They don't know.
It's just hypothetical, and it's based off last season pretty much.
It is based a lot on
success.
Well, with Oklahoma, you could say, okay, I got a returning quarterback.
Yeah.
I've got a returning defense that is getting better and better. They're actually starting to play real defense now. So if they play a little bit of defense, how good could Oklahoma be? With Georgia, I got a returning quarterback. I've got other parts that are back, from the previous year or whatever. I got a quarterback that's played some at Clemson. It looked real good against Notre Dame. In that game, threw for, 400 yards against Notre Dame. I got a lot of parts back on my offensive line and things like that. With Alabama, you look at a defense that was best in the SEC last year, but it wasn't like, Alabama defenses of the past.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of parts that are back there. Offensively, you got a couple of parts back in the offensive line, but do you really know that John Mechie is going to be the next, wide receiver 1 that's going to be a go-to guy, or that some of the young kids that are coming in are going to be that? Do we even really know about Bryce Young? We don't know 100% that Bryce Young is just the next in line of Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, Mac Jones, and then Bryce Young. What happened to Blake Barnett? What happened to some of these other guys that came through? Was it the coordinators that had a lot to do with that? I mean, when you think about that, Alabama's had this run of quarterback success going all the way back to Blake Sims, but they have had some coordinator success there. From Lane Kiffin. Was it Lane Kiffin that all of a sudden, did that? Was it Steve Sarkisian that had a lot to do with that? And now there's Bill O'Brien. Does he keep that thing going? So, I honestly, I wish there were real fans we can play around and have fun with whatever.
Yeah.
I wish there was no real, like an AP poll or a coach's poll until 4 weeks into the season, after the first quarter.
Makes sense.
The first third of the season.
Yeah.
I want to see them. I want to see everybody play a good game, play a couple of cupcakes and a couple of good games. And then I'll tell you who it is. The thing is, because once you pigeonhole these teams like this, you can say that the college football committee is going to just go and they're going to start fresh and all that. But if they're watching the game, they're big, football people watching all these games. Every game you watch is a little number next to the team. And if you know that Alabama is 1 and Miami is 16, take those numbers away. What if Miami plays great in that game?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's almost as irrelevant as a mock draft when guys do pre-mock drafts, like real early mock drafts. You know what I mean? It's like preseason. It's like, who cares? And it's like the season before. You don't know if these guys are going to go where they're going to go. It's all hypothetical.
But once you put them in these spots, now they've got to move around in these spots. And I know the College Football Playoff Committee, they say they start with a clean piece of paper. But I think that's BS to a certain extent. I think to a certain extent that's all BS. You put Iowa State 7, okay? Iowa State's not the 7th best team in the entire country, but you put them 7. So what if they win their first 3 games? Well, they got to maybe move up a little bit, right? I mean, it's like, well, maybe after they win their first 3 games, they should be 12, if you were doing a fresh poll. I wish that these didn't come out now. I wish they hadn't. All right, let's get a break. We'll come back, wrap up hour number 1 next, right here, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
¿Por qué huele a humo?
Benito's line cook just threw in his kitchen towel.
This order needs to go out right now.
He needs to find help before his customers are left waiting.
So sorry. We'll be right with you. Who's got table 6?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Guys, when we were 20, we never had to worry about spontaneity. And now that we've gotten older, spontaneity has been replaced with pills and injections. We're just trying to keep that intimacy, but it's taken away from spontaneity. At Advanced Life Clinic, we now offer GainsWave, which uses sound waves to non-invasively treat this issue with no need for pills or injections. Just give us a call, 256-888-9367, or check us out online, advancedlifeclinic.com.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Brooks & Collier has always been about making the most of your outdoors. Our lush greenhouse and new furniture ideas will inspire you, but we're also about value. Our brands are so handsome, they'll make themselves comfortable inside or out, and so well made, they'll weather the weather for many years to come. Our staff can consult you on the right choices, and Lucy for sure can show us the sofa that's the most comfortable. Make the most of your outdoors. Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Welcome back to Thom Abraham Show. Segment brought to you by TOC Sports at TOC Sports. No matter what your injury need is, they can take care of you. And they will take care of you quickly, and they will get it done the right way, and they do a tremendous job at TOC Sports. Now, here's the thing. A lot of times when you think of TOC Sports, you think of surgeons, because a lot of those guys are surgeons down there, and we always talk to the surgeons when we get a TOC injury report. But here's the deal. A lot of times it's not a surgery. Or in fact, most of the time it's not a surgery. It's some kind of a rehab that you need to go through. So if you got that chronic ache or pain, make an appointment to see the docs at TOC Sports. They got locations all over the Valley, Fayetteville, everywhere. And everywhere in the Valley you can find TOC Sports. There's one near you, and you can go down there and see a doc and get that relief that you need. Just about every high school now in the Valley uses TOC Sports. They have trainers from TOC Sports. Alabama A&M does. The Huntsville Havoc do. They all do. All right, so check out TOC Sports when you have that need. Grizz, what did you think of the fact that the Hall of Fame game had a higher rating? They had 1.5 million more people watch the Hall of Fame game than watch the Field of Dreams baseball game.
Like I said, or like you said, people we're a football nation, you know what I mean? And baseball seems like it's getting back, and that was the right way to do it. And to get this, I seriously think with an old movie, you really did pull the young generation in the right direction. So I just think it was a great thing all around.
Blew my mind. One, that it had the highest regular season rating since 2004, and then blew my mind that more people watched the Hall of Fame game. Crazy.
We love football.
Joey Blackwell is up next right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Sitting here with Ann Adams of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Rise Real Estate. Is it a good time to sell your home, Ann?
Yes, it is. We have people relocating from all over the country.
Why should we choose Rise Real Estate?
Well, we've been selling real estate in North Alabama for 36 years and have sold more real estate than any other real estate company, period.
Do you help your customers through the entire process?
Yes, our agents are with you during the whole process from start to finish, from beginning to end.
In your relocation services, you have a whole team.
Yes, we have a dedicated relocation department helping customers move seamlessly into the area.
Ann Adams has been writing contracts for the last 36 years. She has the experience to help you list and sell your home, downsize your home, or help pick the perfect spot north of Alabama for you to build a future.
Call Ann Adams at 256-337-2625 or on the web at www.bhhsriserealestate.com.
Sitting here with Mark Kent of Southern Fidelity Mortgage Group of Huntsville. Mark, do you help pre-qualify people?
We pre-qualify people all the time, Wes. As a matter of fact, I love having them coming in here because when they come in and they pre-qualify, they can leave my office knowing exactly how much they can buy and have no worries.
Mark, tell me about your rates and pricing.
Well, Wes, this is something we're really, really proud of. Long story short is, I love being able to provide the best pricing in town. Honestly, I cannot tell you the last time I lost a deal to either rate or pricing, something I'm very proud of.
So what all financing options do you have, Mark?
We do several different things. If you're purchasing a home, we can handle the purchase. If you're wanting to refinance your home, of course, rates are at the lowest they've been in the last 3 years. We do a lot of refinancing. If you're building a home, we can handle the entire process from breaking ground to the final close.
Do you sleep with your phone?
Wes, if you want to reach me, you can call me at my office phone, which is 256-562-1000. But always remember, I sleep with my cell phone at night. That number is 256-656-5936.
Chad, cue the cheesy Italian music. So you're in charge of the dinner spot, and the family is a hard group to please. Dad wants award-winning 21-day age certified Angus beef. Mom craves authentic Italian food like great-grandma. Sissy pretty much won't eat anything but fresh seafood. And old life of the party, Uncle Walter, likes to enjoy a cigar after dinner with some live local entertainment and some killer cocktails. So you think you're in a pickle? Well, you're not. Relax. I'm Tom Chapman, chef at Nick's Ristorante at 10300 Bailey Cove Road, just south of Weatherly. We have all that and more. Our friendly and helpful staff is eager to help you Tuesday through Saturday, starting at 5. So, corral that crazy crew of yours and give us a call at 256-489-8280 or tell them to check us out at nicksristorante.com. I promise you, the gang will all think you're a culinary cruise director of awesomeness if you take them all to Nick's. See you soon. Ciao. Okay, Chad, kill that music.
Nick's is for patrons 19 or older.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi, developing story from the NBA. The 76ers have locked up the cornerstone of their franchise. ESPN's Ramona Shelburne reports they've signed star center Joel Embiid to a 4-year, $196 million Supermax extension. Keeps him under contract with Philadelphia through the 2026-2027 season for a total of $261 million. Fully guaranteed deal does not include the same provisions protecting the Sixers in case of catastrophic injury to Embiid's lower feet or back, like the contract he signed 4 years ago. The Jaguars released Tim Tebow. The 2007 Heisman Trophy winning quarterback had reunited with his former college coach Urban Meyer in Jacksonville as Tebow tried to revive his NFL career as a tight end. Dodger skipper Dave Roberts says the best case scenario for Clayton Kershaw is he makes a couple of starts next month. Kershaw has been sidelined with left elbow inflammation.
He's bald, he's opinionated, and he's here.
You're morally reprehensible, vulgar, insensitive, selfish, stupid. You have no taste, a lousy sense of humor, and you smell.
Listen to Feinbaum, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show, brought to you by our good friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Woody Anderson Ford Service Department, second to none. When you need that work done, whether you have a Ford or not, they've got the right technicians for you at Woody Anderson Ford. You see how much pride they take in their facility. That's how much pride they're going to take in making sure that they get your vehicle done right. Joining us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline from BamaCentral.com, Joey Blackwell is in to talk a little bit of Alabama football as they have now gotten past their first scrimmage and they move forward. Joey, welcome to the show. How are you, man?
Doing all right, Tom. How about yourself?
I am fantastic. What do you know about the schedule going forward? One more scrimmage before they start the game week prep for Miami. When would that be? That kind of stuff.
Well, of course, today signals, the last practice of fall camp. Tomorrow, since classes are starting, it'll officially be preseason practices. There will be one more scrimmage this weekend before, the preseason practices really get underway in that game day for Miami. But, right now we're still taking it one. To be allowed to view practices between now and the game. We're not exactly sure why, unfortunately. Hopefully there was no positive test or anything of that nature. I have heard rumors that might be why the media was barred from the rest of practices, but those are just rumors. I can't confirm or deny any of that stuff. So, but yeah, fall camp is officially, today's the last day, and preseason begins tomorrow, and just looking forward to seeing what we can get from a distance from here on out. Very much like last year.
Yeah, you cut out there for a minute. Explain that again. What has happened as far as your media to any of the practice?
Yes, Alabama Athletics announced yesterday that media will no longer be allowed to view the practices in person. That went into effect yesterday. I was not able to visit the practice last night, nor was any of the other media. We're not exactly sure why. There have been some people saying that there might have been a positive test for other things, but that has not been confirmed, so that is just a rumor. Maybe there are also other factors that could have come into effect for that being, for our media availability being postponed. Now, we still will be able to talk to players via Zoom. That will still go on as scheduled. As far as viewing practices in person, those have been put on hold at least until the season begins. So we'll just have to wait and hear from Alabama Athletics for that as well.
Do you have any idea if Alabama or how close they are to 100% vaccinated, the team-wise? I mean, we heard, of course, Ole Miss is at 100%. Has there been any talk about how close they are to being 100% for the team?
When I was the last I spoke, which was about a week ago, last I heard Alabama was in the mid to high 90% range. So they're getting up there as far as the team. I know the administration has been fully vaccinated, as have the coaching staff. But as far as the players themselves, I've heard it's the mid to high 90s. I hear that they're very close to getting that 100% threshold, but they're not quite there just yet.
Is there any requirement for the media to be vaccinated? Do you have to show proof of vaccination? We're seeing more and more things like that where you got to show, they've got, I think the Raiders just announced if you're going to go to a Los Angeles Raiders football game, you got to show proof of vaccination to get in the stadium. So are they doing anything like that where they say if you're going to be around us, you got to be vaccinated?
As of right now, there are no requirements to be vaccinated. However, it has, of course, been strongly encouraged by Alabama. We've actually been told that it's expected of us to get vaccinated. That being said, there is no firm requirement. They're kind of going by the state of Alabama laws where, you don't have to, you can't really show, COVID passports aren't a thing in the state of Alabama. So they're kind of having to stick to that, so they can't require it, but they are expecting us. I personally got my vaccine back in April, so I've been vaccinated for quite some time now.
Yeah.
As have the rest of the Bama Central staff. But it this goes back to the whole personal choice debate and Alabama not wanting to step any on toes in that regard. But that being said, I have heard from some other schools that there's nothing set in stone yet, but some other schools have been considering making that a requirement. But if, a road game, that's playing things changing, things every no doubt going to be some changes limited apart. But as of right now,
I think your phone needs to be vaccinated, Joey. I mean, because it's definitely sounding sick right now. I don't know if you're in a bad spot or what, but it is sounding a little.
I'm down here. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm down here right now.
Yeah.
And so there's no good that would be at my home. I apologize.
Yeah. It it is interesting because private companies can require vaccination. We're seeing a lot of the big radio companies, that are requiring vaccination. So it isn't unusual for a private business to be able to require that. Some people think, oh no, you can't make me get. Well, your employer can make you be vaccinated and give you a date that you have to be vaccinated by if they choose to do that. But that's a whole nother issue. It seems to be that all the reports were that Bryce Young. I mean, he's the key to this whole thing. They're overwhelming number one in both preseason polls. I wish we didn't have preseason polls other than just fun stuff that we would do. I wish we didn't have anything that was semi-official like these AP and coaches polls. Those numbers will stay next to those teams' names throughout all the games that they play. And I don't know how you feel about it, but I know the college football playoff folks say that they start with a clean slate, but I mean, every game they watch, they see a number next to the team's name. You can't tell me that doesn't have an impact. They know if they're really watching games and paying attention to what's going on, they know who's already ranked where, and you kind of pigeonhole teams, before you really know what they've got. I wish the AP didn't come out for 4 weeks. Give me 4 games before I tell you who number 1 is and who number 20 is.
Mm-hmm. Now, I've always been the same mindset as well. I think top 4 teams of every year is going to be a mixture of Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson. You throw Georgia in there now and again, Oklahoma. You do. If they lose, they just lost it. It hurts themselves and it holds them back from moving up higher in the rankings. It's something that should be considered. I haven't said the 4 weeks. I've said 6 weeks into the season, but forward rate. I think that preseason polls don't really mean much. I think it's really hard to gauge a team, and Alabama's a prime example of that. With their offensive question marks, it is going to be difficult to really gauge how this team is. Heading into the first week of the season, really for things you to really figure things out.
Yeah, they don't mean much, but they do set a. I mean, what if Alabama beats Miami by 10? You know what I mean? And I think one other time they didn't cover, in one of these opening kickoff classic games. So what if they beat Miami by 10? Everybody says, "Oh, that really? Are they the number 1 team in the country?" Or what if Georgia goes out and beats Clemson? Are they going to jump up? Shouldn't they be number 1? Maybe if they win if Georgia beat Clemson by 15 and Alabama beats Miami, which is number 15 or 16 in the country, by 10 or. It's just it sets an unfair expectation. I mean, what if they then go to Florida and they win that game, but they don't win it by a ton? Now it's looking like now they start slipping in the polls. If they started at 4 or 5, where maybe they belong right now, and then they beat Miami and then they go to Florida and beat Florida, then the next thing you know, they start creeping up the poll. I just think that it kind of it puts people in a position, especially those teams that are down in that. Outside of the top 10, maybe just outside of the top 10, that makes a long road for them to climb, and it's got to be hard for the committee to just go into their first poll 7 weeks into the season and just say we don't know anything about anything. We're just going to take and put these teams, and rank them.
Well, it also says fair, you're buying me about 10. People would say, well, it's the best team in the nation. But that's also unfair to Miami. That Miami isn't better than a 16 spot. Who's to say that they are ranked higher? So same thing with Georgia. Georgia, Clemson, and people will be like, "Oh, well, that makes Georgia pretty well, not so fast." Who's to say that Clemson's having an off year? It's really hard to kind of gauge that early on, and it just goes back to your point.
Yeah. That's why I want to see. Well, I'll tell you what, Joey, that phone is really bad. I mean, it's tough for us to hear you much, so we're gonna cut you free and let you go. But I appreciate you as always, and it's gonna be impossible to get any kind of information, I guess, out of these guys unless you can get some information from the Zoom calls and from Nick Saban to hear what we hear from him. But Joey Blackwell joining us there on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Look, I'm just gonna say this about that. The Neighbors Wealth Management hotline is fine. It was Joey's phone. He said he was in the basement of somewhere. I don't know if he was in the facility or what the story was, but it was hard to hit him there. But that's the thing, Chad. What if Miami, who is number 16, I think, in the polls, what if Alabama beats Miami by 9? Does that mean that Alabama is not all of that in a bag of chips? Or does that mean that Miami is better than number 14 in the country, where they're ranked? If Miami, who was an 18.5-point dog to Alabama, if Miami is tied with Alabama at halftime or is ahead of Alabama at halftime and Alabama pulls out the game, maybe pulls away late in the fourth quarter for an 8 or 9-point win, does Miami move up in the rankings? Of course not. They never move a team up in the rankings off of a loss. But if you had not put out any rankings until the fourth week, and then all of a sudden Miami, wrecked who they're playing in weeks 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
And by the way, they led Alabama at halftime. Now all of a sudden the first poll comes out of Miami's number 3 or number 4 in the country or something like that. But now they get beat by Alabama by 8. They'll probably slide a little bit in the poll. They're not going to move them up and say, well, because somebody's Georgia or Clemson's going to lose, right? They're playing each other. Clemson's 3, Georgia's 5.
Yeah.
They're playing, in the coaches poll, Clemson's 2, Georgia's 5. So if Georgia beats Clemson, how high do they go? Do they jump in front of Oklahoma? That's why I say. That's what I'm talking about when I say you pigeonhole somebody when you do this.
Yeah, but I think outside the top 5, we kind of know who really the top 5 are, though, right?
How do we know?
But we were sitting here talking about it because we look at the top. We look at the top teams, right? Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma, Ohio State. Like we always know that they're like that top 4. Like so, we know legitimately those are like
based on their history.
Yeah,
based on what they've done. Yes. But we don't know what the new quarterback looks like at Texas A&M. We don't know what Iowa State's going to look like with a team that's almost entirely back. Cincinnati's team is almost entirely back.
With a veteran quarterback.
Yeah, and Notre Dame, new quarterback might suck. Maybe Notre Dame's not even a top 15 team. And North Carolina should have been better. They were thought of better last year. They bring back their quarterback. Maybe this year they're better than what they were thought to be last year.
Yeah.
They move up. And what if, like I said, what if Georgia gets after Clemson pretty good? How far would Clemson fall? Because, they're Clemson. So the thing is that, maybe I'm not saying Clemson's not a top 10 team. But what if Georgia were to, beat Clemson by 2 touchdowns? Are we to say that Clemson is – what happens to Clemson? Well, they're Clemson, so they're going to fall to 6, fall to 7. They're going to swap spots with Georgia. And would Georgia beating Clemson be a better win than Alabama beating Miami? What if I don't even know who the hell Ohio State's playing first. Well, they never play anybody. They're not playing anybody. Oklahoma. But if Georgia were to beat Clemson significantly and Alabama were to not cover against Miami, maybe only beat Miami by 7. Alabama beats Miami 31-24, okay? Mm-hmm. And Georgia beats Clemson 28-10. Well, based on that information, who's had the better win? An 18-point win for Georgia or a 7-point win over Clemson or a 7-point win for Alabama over the number 14 team in the country? When the second poll comes out, is Georgia number 1? No. Because they're not going to knock Alabama down off of a win. Maybe they do. I mean, it has happened before. But this is what I talk about. This is why there should be no polls until after the 4th game of the season. Before I tell you that Alabama is number one in the country, I want to see them. They're playing Miami, Mercer, Florida on the road in Gainesville, and then Southern Miss. So they got 2 cupcakes, and they're playing Miami and Florida.
And Ohio State, looking at the schedule, they have Minnesota on a Thursday night on September 2nd.
Right.
And then they play Oregon.
In their first 2 games?
Yeah.
Well, good for them.
And then Tulsa and then Akron.
And Minnesota is what, unranked now?
They may not. And they may not have their top wide receiver in that game too. They had this report a couple days ago.
Who, Ohio State or
Minnesota?
Minnesota.
And they just got Bateman, who just got drafted by the Baltimore Ravens. That's another top wide receiver right there for Minnesota. So, I guess it looks. I mean, I don't know how good it looks for Ohio State if they go out and just shellac Minnesota, or if Minnesota actually gives them a run for the money.
Well, if they shellac them, it's fine. Yeah. But if Minnesota hangs with them, is
that better than Miami hanging with Alabama or whatever?
Right? No, I mean, at least Miami's number 14 in the country.
Yeah, but the thing is if these rankings if we don't really care for these rankings early on, or think that they should matter or anything like that, like I think even going into this game, we don't know. We would have to see like a Minnesota versus Miami game to like get that perspective.
That's
I don't know.
why I think you need 4 games.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Ohio State's a 14-point favorite at Minnesota. Well, what if Minnesota hangs with them? Ohio State wins the game by 7. Well, is that not necessarily still a good one? Where is that Oregon game?
At Ohio State. It's 11 a.m.
Well, that's the Big Ten.
I know. It's on
Think about
it's probably on Fox.
For Oregon. That's for Oregon. That's 8 o'clock in the morning for Oregon's body. I mean,
Yeah.
That's brutal for Oregon. But Oregon is number 11. What happens when they go to Ohio State?
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's tough to. I mean, you'd like to think that there be vast changes early on in these polls. But you say, look, it doesn't matter because there's a college football poll, but I'm still telling you right now, you cannot tell me that those people at the college football committee, playoff committee, are like in a total vacuum. They see the promos on ESPN. Number 1, Alabama versus number 14, Miami. Well, what if Miami with the Eric King is really like the 3rd best team in the country this year? What if by the end of the season, now all of a sudden that Alabama 7-point win over Miami, what if Miami turns around and beats Clemson? But now all of a sudden that win over Miami looks a hell of a lot more impressive. Same thing with Ohio State going to Minnesota. Or what if Alabama beats Miami by 7 and Miami is a 500 team? Now all of a sudden it didn't look that great, does it? That win. The Georgia-Clemson game is huge right now. You look at Texas A&M in their schedule, they don't play anything until Alabama, in my opinion. I mean, Texas A&M opens up with Kent State, Colorado, New Mexico, Arkansas at home. Is that at home? Yeah, it must be at home this year. Not playing at Jerry's World? Arkansas at home. I mean, they'll be spunky, Arkansas, but Texas A&M is going to be a 2-touchdown favorite anyway. And Mississippi State at home. And I'm not buying Mike Leach. Mike Leach has never done anything. I'm sorry. Mike Leach is a 8-4 coach. All right, so it's October 9th for Texas A&M. They're 5-0. Pencil them in. They're 5-0. Now, if Georgia loses a close game to Clemson, Texas A&M is going to jump ahead of Georgia. And Texas A&M's played nobody. A 4-1 Georgia with a loss to Clemson will be ranked lower than a 5-0 Texas A&M because they're starting 5-6. So Texas A&M would jump in front of them. And when you look at Georgia, after Clemson, they got UAB, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Arkansas. So when you get to the 9th, when Georgia plays the South's oldest rivalry against Auburn, when Georgia tees it up against Auburn and A&M tees it up against Alabama, if Georgia has lost to Clemson in Charlotte, then A&M is ranked higher than Georgia. And Georgia's 4-1 is probably better than Clemson or Texas A&M's 5-0.
That's crazy thing about Texas A&M's schedule is they only got Missouri and South Carolina out of the East, and like the rest of them, it's like Mississippi State. Outside of like Alabama, they have Auburn, of course, and then LSU, and it's like they got a pretty easy schedule. I mean, they
have
Texas
a
A&M's got
three-game schedule.
Really easy schedule.
And that's if you consider Auburn any good.
Yeah.
The game at Ole Miss could be a little bit problematic.
Right.
But, I mean, they'll finish, they've got Alabama right in the middle of their schedule, and then they have LSU in the final game. They have November 6th, they'll get Auburn after a bye at home. They're going to be favored in that game pretty significantly. Mm-hmm. And then they're at Ole Miss. That could be a little bit dicey. But for the most part, Texas A&M is a pretty easy schedule.
Yeah, and I'm just worried maybe that Missouri game right after the Alabama game, but
maybe
that might be a slip-up game. But other than that, who knows? I think Missouri's a lot better with a more experienced quarterback in Bazelak.
Yeah, Missouri could cause some people some problems.
Yeah, I think they will in the East. I ranked them pretty high too. I know my rankings don't matter, but just what I said and what I saw
Where did you
last
have
year.
In the East?
4th.
Who do you got 3rd?
I had. Who did I have 4th? Or who did I have 3rd?
It'd be Kentucky.
Yeah, it was Kentucky. I had Kentucky over Missouri, and a lot of people like bashed me for that.
Why?
I don't know. I'm kind of riding the high on Kentucky a little bit.
Like I think that's what the isn't that what the media poll was? I thought it actually came out that way.
I may have had Missouri over Kentucky. Maybe that was what it was. I think I had I had it flipped. I had Missouri 3rd and Kentucky 4th. That's what it was. And then I had of course Georgia
terrible.
1st, Florida 2nd.
Yeah, that's not terrible.
Yeah. I'm big. I like Bazelak. I think he could be a really good quarterback in the SEC.
Do you have Tennessee or South Carolina 5th?
I actually had South Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Tennessee 6th and
then Vandy. Yeah.
For playing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm high on Missouri this year. A lot higher than usual. I mean, I really like when Bazelak came in after that Alabama game, and he really turned that program around.
Who'd you have 2nd in the West?
I had A&M.
A&M 2, LSU 3.
Mm-hmm.
Who'd you have 4?
I had Auburn. No, I'm sorry. I had Ole Miss. I had Ole Miss. I had Auburn 5th.
Auburn 5.
Yeah.
State. No, Arkansas and State or State and Arkansas?
I had Arkansas and State.
Arkansas and State last.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with you there.
Yeah.
I think that's what mine was.
Yeah.
I think that's what mine was. All right, let's get a break. When we come back, it is Tuesday. I have a top 10. How do these number ones fare? I think there's some pretty fascinating stuff when you look at the history of the preseason number 1 team in the country. This is the 8th time in 70 years, the 8th time that Alabama's been the preseason number 1. Twice they finished number 1, and they're the last team to be preseason number 1 and finish number 1. But I'll give you the history of all of this next with our Tuesday Top 10 on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Simple Green is perfect for making your auto, RV, cycling, boating, and other sporting equipment look like new. Visit them at simplegreen.com.
Top 10 middleweights will meet at this week's UFC Fight Night. Number 3 ranked Jared Cannonier and 9th ranked Kelvin Gastelum will fight at the UFC Apex Center in Vegas Saturday. Cannonier the minus 155 favorite, Gastelum plus 130. MLB Rookie of the Year odds updated on Monday. In the American League, Randy Arozarena leads the way at plus 150, followed by Adolis Garcia at plus 275 and Luis Garcia at plus 350. In the National League, Jonathan India the heavy favorite, minus 400, Trevor Rogers at plus 225, and Dylan Carlson plus 1,200. Alabama number 1 in the preseason AP college football poll. They are favored to win the national championship at plus 250. Clemson at plus 375. Georgia plus 550.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Tired of the same old menu options everywhere you go? Then you need to try Metro Diner in Huntsville and Madison. The award-winning Metro Diner serves up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available anytime, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And stop by for brunch on Saturday or Sunday and enjoy the lowest price mimosas in town. Airport Road, Huntsville, and Highway 72 in Madison. In diner or at home, make it Metro Diner.
Hey friends, Eli Gold here for Environmental Comfort Systems. If you're concerned about the air quality inside your home, give my friend Rick Smith a call at Environmental Comfort Systems. Their indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of indoor air contaminants. Give the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and see how comfortable you can be. Breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
Every time Taco Bell's nacho fries returned, those Mexican spices were drawing something closer to the surface.
And once they taste that warm nacho cheese sauce, they won't stop till there's nothing left.
Can the Fry Force save the world and the nacho fries we love?
So either we fight together, or we fry alone.
Or will the monsters devour us all? Get your nacho fries today while you can. Now serving at a Taco Bell near you. At participating U.S. locations for a limited time only.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Thom Abraham here for my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. We're still a place to call for your insulation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on two services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatewitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary, but it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188, and you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
From the WZDX Pinpoint Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Tuesday, expect scattered showers and thunderstorms, otherwise a mostly cloudy sky. High temperatures will top out in the mid-80s. And for your Tuesday night, expect a few isolated showers, patchy fog to develop after midnight, a partly cloudy sky, low temperatures falling into the lower 70s. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Chuck Oliver. Listen to me coming up today at noon. Now back to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Thank you, Chuck. Welcome back. Segment of the show is brought to you by the Rocket City Trash Pandas back in town. It is ladies' night tonight. Reed's Jewelers ladies' night down at the ballpark tonight. What do you think? Is the weather going to hold off? I think the weather will hold off. I mean, it's sketchy, but it's going to be, at least it's not going to be like brutally hot or anything like that. I think it'll be okay. Grizz? Maybe.
It looks a little overcast, and
overcast is okay.
Emily Owens saying that it might little patches of rain and stuff like that throughout the day. So I hope not, but great to see them back. And there's only 3 homestands left, so home series left. So if you're trying to get out to the ballpark, definitely do it. You only have about a month left.
Dog tag giveaway tomorrow night. First 500 dogs.
Very cool.
Tomorrow night, get a dog tag, a Trash Pandas dog tag, and then on Thursday night it's Superhero Night and Jersey auction. That's the game you want to go to, right?
Course.
You're going to go.
I'm going to dress up.
What would you go? What superhero would you go as if you could choose any superhero of all the superheroes?
Yeah.
If you had to pick one, who would you go at? Wonder Woman? Who would you go as if you could be one superhero?
If it was one superhero, and I've always wanted this costume, it would probably be like the White Ranger from Power Rangers or like the Green Ranger.
Wait, whoa.
Those are superheroes.
No,
man.
they are not superheroes.
They're superheroes, man.
No.
They're like martial artists, teenagers, man.
So you're saying the Teenage Ninja Turtles are superheroes too?
Yes, they were formed by government ooze, man.
No.
They didn't even.
The
Turtles
Power
didn't
Rangers,
know karate before this.
Power Rangers are not superheroes. Okay, let's get this straight. Okay. Power Rangers are not superheroes. Okay, they weren't Marvel and they weren't DC. They're not superheroes.
Okay,
Power Rangers.
Let me go to a legit superhero.
That's like saying you want to be the Lone Ranger. You know what I mean? It's not a superhero.
I bet if I walked around in a Power Rangers costume, I'd get a lot of pictures, that's for sure. But anyway, superhero, narrow it down to one superhero.
One superhero.
My favorite superhero, Captain America. If I had a Captain America suit with the shield, I would be rocking Captain America. I'd be Steve Rogers.
That's exactly who I was going to say.
And the thing is, I never really got into comic books as a kid, so when the Marvel superhero thing kind of came about, I knew about all the superheroes and everything like that, and it wasn't until the Captain America movie I was just oh, I'm on board. I'm on board for it, because if anyone remembers, the guy that actually plays Steve Rogers, he was the Human Torch at one time, so in the Fantastic Four movies, and those movies were absolutely awful. So, I would definitely go as Steve Rogers.
So I don't want to be the Spider-Man because I'm afraid of heights.
Heights
bother me.
Spider-Man's always a good one too. Spider-Man is that Spider-Man and Cap are probably 1 and 2 for me. When he took the shield from Cap in Civil War. Oh my god.
What do you Superman or Batman?
Ooh, I'm more of a Batman guy.
Because Batman doesn't have any superpowers.
No.
That's what I like about Batman. And again, Superman has to fly, and I really don't like the fly much, so I don't want to do that. I want to drive the Batmobile and the Bat motorcycle. I am more of a Batman guy than a Superman guy, but I think I would rather be Captain America if I can only be one superhero.
Yeah, if it was on the DC side, I would probably be the Flash.
I don't know which is which.
I'd be the Flash.
Which is DC? What's DC?
DC is Superman.
What's Marvel?
Batman. Marvel is Captain America, the Hulk. You got
I wouldn't
Black
mind
Widow.
the Hulk. I wouldn't mind being
Thor.
the Hulk a little bit.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Man, now you think you got me crazy because I mean it's either going to be that. I mean I don't know, man. I would
it's
probably
not going to be a Power Ranger. You're not going to be the white Power.
I don't know, man.
Isn't
now
the
that I'm
white
thinking about
Power
it,
Ranger the one that was a little funny? You know what I mean? A little.
No, that was Tommy. That was Tommy.
Tommy,
the guy with the long flowing hair. Jason was the Red Ranger.
Sure. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but
Tommy, dude, Tommy was awesome, man.
Oh, I thought you said he was a little bit.
No, he was awesome. He was.
No, I'm saying one of them was a little bit like a switch hitter.
No,
I thought one of the Power Ranger. Or maybe I'm thinking of those.
The
other
blue
things.
one was the Blue Ranger was like the smart guy. He was like the nerd. He was the
What are
nerd
those
of the group.
things that had the things on their head? You know, the big things on their head, and nobody. They had like big antennae and stuff like that. They were different colors: blue one and a yellow one and a green one.
You talking about what now?
I don't know what they were. They were some
in Power
kind
Rangers.
No, they weren't Power Rangers.
Oh.
I'm saying there was something else. They had things on their heads that were like antenna, and people thought that they were asexual. What were those things?
Slugs?
No.
I don't even know. I don't even know. All I know is the things I grew up on is like Biker Mice from Mars, Ninja Turtles, the shark, whatever the street sharks.
Teletubbies. Thank you, Steve Moulton.
Teletubbies. I never watched that. I'm sorry.
I thought the Teletubbies. I heard that the Teletubbies were.
I mean, it's a kid show, and the thing is, it's like what's crazy, and it just shows you how old everyone is, including me, that literally the baby in the sun has her own baby now. Because she's like 23 or 24 now or something.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about now.
I'm talking about if you ever watched Teletubbies, they always had the son, right? It was always a baby. And that was the point of it, was because it was a kid's show.
Oh, no.
And now she's like 20-something and she has a kid of her own. So it's just showing you how old you are.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would superheroes. Who? I mean, you said Captain America. Is there anyone outside of Captain America that you'd pick? Like that's that's got to be number one. So Batman.
It would be Batman or Captain
Super
America. Batman, the Hulk guy.
I could be
the Iron Man. I wouldn't mind being an Iron Man, maybe.
I could be Blade because he's actually a Marvel character.
Never heard of Blade.
You don't remember Wesley Snipes? Blade.
I don't watch any of these movies.
What?
I didn't see anything except for Superman and Batman.
That apparently is a Marvel movie. Apparently, he's a part of the Marvel universe.
I don't watch any of the Marvel or DC comic movies.
Well, you've missed out on a lot of great movies.
I don't. I know. Well, I don't. Wolverine. What's he? I wouldn't mind being a Wolverine.
Oh, Wolverine? That's X-Men, so that's Marvel.
Is he a superhero?
Would you
consider those guys superheroes?
Yeah, he's a superhero. X-Men are superheroes, except for the bad ones, the mutants, whatever they call them.
Yeah,
the bad mutants.
All right, so let's get
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's the Tuesday Top 10.
You geeked out on that segment a little too much.
I want to tell you right now.
A little too geeky there on that segment. A little too geeky.
That's the thing. Joe and I are like the same person. We like video games. We like that Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
And every time you get Brent Sobolewski on, the first thing we talk about is whatever Marvel show we watched or whatever Marvel thing that's going on.
Yeah.
Brent Sobolewski is the biggest geek.
And now it's time for today's Dog Law. Words for every red-blooded American to live by. As presented by the Big Dog.
Power Rangers are not superheroes.
That was today's Dog Law. You'll thank us later.
Sir, yes, sir.
Sir, yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right, only 11 times in the history of the AP poll, which dates back to 1950, okay? Only 11 times in the history of the AP poll has a team been ranked number one in the preseason and finished number one. But there's only 6 teams that have ever done it, okay? 6 programs that have done it that account for the 11 times, okay? So we're going to play the Quiz Grizz game, all right? Ooh, I like that. That's a new thing I just made up then. The Quiz Grizz game, all right? Without looking, Grizz, without cheating, and now I can see you, so I know if you're cheating or not, so no cheating, okay? All right, Grizz, name a program. Let's see how many of the 6 that you can name. I'll give you 3 strikes. Name a program that was preseason number one and won the national championship?
Alabama.
Woo! Alabama. Okay, the Alabama has been 7 times preseason number 1. This is the 8th, and twice Alabama was finished the season at number 1. It was in 1978. All right, Bear Bryant, the Barry Krause guys, those guys. 1978, and of course, just a few years ago in 2017, which is the last time it happened in 2017. But 2 out of the 7 times that Alabama was preseason number 1, they actually won the national championship. All right, give me another team that you think was number 1 the preseason and ended up winning the national championship.
Tennessee.
You're cheating.
No, I'm not. I swear, I'm not even looking at anything.
Okay, you better not be
Because,
cheating.
I'm thinking of the year.
Yeah, what year?
98.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No.
No? Oh, okay. I thought maybe.
No.
97, whatever it was.
Preseason number 1 in 98 was actually Ohio State.
Oh, okay.
No, it was actually 1951.
Oh, wow. Way far back. So.
51. They were the first team to do it. They did it in the second year of the AP poll.
That was total BS, by the way.
Yeah.
Just
Well, you got it right. All right. You haven't used any of your strikes yet. I know you're not going to get one that you're not going to get. But anyway, all right, give me another team that you think was preseason number 1 and finished number 1.
Florida State.
Florida State, excellent. Well, look at you.
This is literally just like right off the top of my head. The
Florida
first
State,
one, obviously.
Florida State has done it twice. Florida State has been preseason number 1 4 times, and 2 of the 4 times that they were preseason number 1 in 1993 and in 1999. Florida State finished number 1. They were also preseason number 1 in 1995 and 1991. In 95, they finished number 4, and in 91, they also finished number 4. All right, give me another one. You're missing the obvious one. There's one team that's done it the most, which is 4 times. There's your hint.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame has never been preseason number 1 and won the national championship. How about that? I mean, is that is kind of it goes to the kind of overrated of Notre Dame, that it just been. So you used up. They were the first one. They were number 1 preseason number 1 in 1950 in the very first AP poll. They finished the season unranked. Yeah. All right.
Most obvious.
You're missing the obvious one. They have been number 1 preseason 10 times, and 4 times they went on to win the national championship. Oh, you're going to kick yourself.
I know. Not even thinking, apparently. Not LSU.
LSU is incorrect.
So.
You
I don't think they had 4 anyway.
You got one. I can't believe you're missing the most obvious one.
I got all those other ones really well too, except for Alabama. But
Tennessee was so random.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. There's 2 really pretty obvious ones that you're missing.
Ohio State? No, I didn't think so.
I said earlier in the show, Ohio State's been 8 times preseason number 1. Never won the thing. Oklahoma is number 1.
Okay, I was going to say Oklahoma, but I didn't think that it was legit because I
4 times
didn't even think about it.
I mean, they've done this.
One.
Oklahoma was preseason number 1 in 1974 and 1975 with Greg Pruitt. And they ended up number 1 at the end. They were on a bowl ban.
Wanted to say
then. They were preseason number 1 those years. Oklahoma was preseason number 1 in 1985 and finished number 1. And the last time that was the last time Oklahoma did it. And let's see, the other time Oklahoma did it was in 1956. Bud Wilkinson. Oklahoma was number 1, preseason number 1, and they won the national championship. All right, another obvious one that you're missing a little bit here, USC.
Oh, my goodness!
Yeah, USC has done this twice. USC has been number 1, preseason number 1, and won the thing. They were 2004. USC was preseason number 1. They were the last team to do it. USC was preseason number 1 in 2004, 2005, and 2007. In 5 and 7, they finished 2 and 3, but in 2004 they won it. The first time that USC was preseason number 1 and got it done. Or maybe they've only done it once. I thought they've done it twice. I may be wrong. Let me just see here. No, USC's only done it once. 2004 is the only time they ever did it. And this is the one that I thought, think about that. USC, Oklahoma, Alabama. I mean, these are the programs. You got to mention those programs. Now, this is the one you were not going to get, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Michigan State.
Oh, my goodness!
Yeah, Michigan State in 1952 was preseason number 1, and they went on to win the thing. Now, the flip side of this deal, 1950, Notre Dame, 61, Iowa, for 3 straight years. Check this out. 61, Iowa was number 1, finished the year unranked. 62, wow. Ohio State started number 1, finished the year unranked. 63, USC opened the season number 1, finished the year unranked. And in 64, Ole Miss opened the season number 1, finished the season unranked. For 4 straight years, the number 1 team in the country, according to the AP poll, finished the season unranked.
Wow.
You know the last time it happened? 2012, USC was number 1. Preseason, USC was number 1, and they finished unranked. All right, finally, Alabama. We'll finish where we started. The years Alabama was preseason number 1. This is the 8th year. Remember, I told you that. The first time Alabama was preseason number 1 was 1966. Alabama they should have finished number 1 that year. That's the year that's the forgotten ring. That's the year that Notre Dame and Michigan State tied 10-10, and they shared the national championship. Alabama was unbeaten, untied, and they screwed them because of segregation, basically. And so Alabama finishes number 3 behind Notre Dame and Michigan State in 1966. The next time they were preseason number 1 was 1978. They were preseason number 1, and they won the national championship. The only year that Auburn was preseason number 1 was 1984. They finished 14th in the country that year. Alabama was preseason number 1 in 2010. They finished 10th that year. They were preseason number 1 in 2013, finished 7th. Preseason number 1 in 2016, finished 2nd. 2017, won a national championship. 2018, finished 2nd. Okay, so Alabama's been the preseason number 1 four of the last 7 years. 5 now. 5 of the last 8 seasons. 5 of the last 8 seasons, Alabama's been preseason number 1, but they only won the national championship in 2017 out of that. All right, let's get a break. We will come back, a final segment. You want to stick a phone call in there, you can do it at 256-5764-97.7. It's the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Everybody knows the fun begins when you get to the end zone, where you can enjoy half-price apps every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, half-price burgers every Tuesday, plus late-night pizza specials and a spectacular menu that includes jumbo wings, half-pound burgers, Tex-Mex, and an incredible selection of craft beer, and plenty of big-screen TVs. It's all happening at the end zone, 1851 University Drive, 2030 Cecil Ashburn at Jones Valley Station, and coming in early 2022, Mid-City End Zone at 1115 McMurtry next to the Target Shopping Center.
Orange is the color of power, of progress, the color of Kubota and Huntsville Tractor and Equipment. Those who need to get things done trust Kubota's L and M Series tractors, zero-turn mowers, the fun sidekick from one of the top dealers in the country. More than 50 years of family service, every part in the book, and folks who know what to do with them. You'll be seeing orange with Huntsville Tractor and Equipment.
Come on, let's go to work.
Guys, when we were 20, we never had to worry about spontaneity. And now that we've gotten older, spontaneity has been replaced with pills and injections. We're just trying to keep that intimacy but it's taken away from spontaneity. At Advanced Life Clinic, we now offer GainsWave, which uses sound waves to non-invasively treat this issue with no need for pills or injections. Just give us a call, 256-888-9367, or check us out online, advancedlifeclinic.com.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Maybe the air doesn't blow like it should, or it's needing new tires, or you're just ready for something newer. It's time to move up, time to trade up. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and it's the perfect time to trade in and trade up because your current car or truck is worth more than you know. In fact, we'll buy your vehicle even if you don't trade. We have nearly 100 Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned models to choose from. Our Ford Gold certified or low mileage, gently used vehicles with great warranties. They've passed a 172-point inspection by certified technicians, come with a 24-hour roadside assistance, plus a full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. It's the perfect time to trade in and trade up because your vehicle is worth more right now at Woody Anderson Ford. Corner of Jordan Lane and Sparkman Drive. Hope to see you soon.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
While other stations keep changing their lineup,
yeah!
we keep plugging away.
Did you lose your mind all of a sudden, or was it a slow, gradual process?
Thank you for making us your #1 choice for sports talk in North Alabama. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. By the way, coming up tonight on The Drive, Brent Musburger will join Steve and no, it'll be Steve and is Drew sitting in, I think, again tonight? I think it was Steve and Drew. Keith Neighbors is sitting in. Wes is on vacation this week. So it'll be Steve and Keith Neighbors tonight, and they'll be on location at the Furniture Factory, and Brent Musburger will join them. Not live. He's not here. Brent will be, on the phone. But he's always a good interview. He's good. He's an energetic guy. For a guy that's as old as he is, He's a pretty energetic guy. Yeah, what happened to my stay? What happened to stay? You should play stay for the last segment. What'd you do to me? You pissing on my back and tell me it's raining.
No, sorry, I was re-importing the log. I'm trying to do like 8 jobs here.
It's got to be.
Okay.
It's
in the bumper.
It should be
in the rotator.
No, should be a fixed position.
No, right.
Put it in there fixed. Then it'll always play. You don't have to worry about it then. Glad you're doing a lot of things.
I just heard some sound. Sorry, I don't know where that was coming from. I think it was coming from outside.
That was me trying to clear my throat.
Yeah, gross.
Did you know that today is Black Cat Appreciation Day?
What is that?
I don't know.
Like a cat?
It's Black Cat Appreciation Day today.
Like a real cat, right?
Like a cat, yeah. You know, it's
because Friday the 13th was last week,
huh?
Because Friday the 13th was last week. What?
I don't know.
That's
Today
weird.
is Black Cat Appreciate. No, August 17th.
Yeah,
is Black Cat Appreciation Day. Teletubbies from the text window. The Chubby Ninja said Power Rangers were definitely a little funny acting. Yeah, see, that's what I thought. They were a little bit.
If karate and martial arts is funny to you, but okay.
No, I always thought.
Don't talk about my Power Rangers like that, man.
I don't know. Maybe I
There's
guess
a lot of little kids. You just wrecked their day because Power Rangers are probably superheroes to them. Wrecked it.
They're definitely not superheroes.
They could be superheroes to a little kid. Come on, easy. Baseball players are superheroes to kids.
Kramer says, I'm not getting Madden until they show my guy Josh Allen in the Bills some respect. What did they take them? They're
probably like 81 or an 82.
And Magic Mike says, you really need, or Smokey Mike, we used to call him Magic Mike, you really need to educate yourself on the greatness of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This coming from a fellow geek like Chad.
Yep.
Tell you what, it's really good to have Smokey Mike back in the fold. I like that. Chuck Oliver is next. I'm Thom Abraham. This is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.